Hi everybody, thank you so much for joining us today for our very first Checkpoint Tech Talk with Westcon. This is going to be a monthly event that we are kicking off. Today virtual because we're still stuck in stupid COVID land at the moment. Hopefully by next month we'll be back to physical events. But again, thank you very much for joining us today. My name's Alana Hopanoa. I am the Vendor Business Manager for Checkpoint at Westcon. Westcon have had a long-lasting relationship with Checkpoint and one that we want to see develop and continue for years to come and hopefully build and develop with all of you guys who are on the line with us today. We're very lucky today to actually be able to host a very small physical gathering here in Auckland, socially distanced, at Diwali. So Diwali have kindly offered their lunch and bar area space for us to come together. So thank you very much to Mark Ellis. We also have some of our Checkpoint team here with us as well in the background here at Diwali. And today we have for us from the Checkpoint team presenting is Sean Luke, who's our SE at Checkpoint. Sean's going to present for us on Infinity SOC and Sandblast Now. We also have from our Westcon team, our security SE, Reza Katami. Reza is going to help manage the Q&A session for us. So throughout the session, if you do have some questions, please feel free to just tap them into the Q&A section should be on the right-hand side of your WebEx screen there. You can throw your questions in there and Reza and Sean will take care of those towards the tail end of the session later on. Once we've gone through the formal typed questions, we will actually capture all of the answers and send those out to you after the session as well. But then we'll also open the floor for any discussion and verbal questions that you may wish to ask also. So I think that might be about all for me. I will now hand over to Sean. Over to you.
Thanks, Alana. Thanks for that awesome introduction. Hi, guys. Hopefully everybody can hear me, see me. Alana, if you can everybody see me fine? Alana, you guys? All good. Awesome. Today, I'm going to talk to you guys in two products or solutions from Checkpoint. The first one being Infinity SOC, and then the second one being Sandblast Now. Let's get this show on the road. So I'm going to share my screen over here. Hopefully everybody can see my screen. And what you guys are seeing right in front of you now is the overview screen for Infinity SOC. So most of you will ask, what's Infinity SOC? Infinity SOC is our tool that we use to show real attacks within the environment, inside and outside of the environment, with a precision rate of 99.9%. On that. Not only that, we will do research. We can do research on different types of attacks, malicious URLs, ransomware, ransomware, as I mentioned to you. And then not only that, this is a SaaS-based environment. You do not have to install any agent. With Infinity SOC, this tool, it will cover your entire IT security, which will be your cloud, on-prem, your mobile, as well as your endpoint on your physical machines. But let's start. As mentioned to you, the overview screen of Infinity SOC. Here we can see that we've got 5,000 plus malicious activity within the environment. That's a 131% increase from yesterday. So this can mean somebody is leaking traffic. So there's traffic leaving the network. There's data leaking, as well as maybe there's lateral movement inside of the environment. With this, we can see there was 14 hosts that was under attack, but however, only 7 of those hosts has been infected with stuff like Loki bots, Ramnet, and so on and so forth. With Infinity SOC, we've got 26 years of intelligence behind this, and hence the reason with our machine learning and algorithms in the backend, AI, if you want to call it that, can work out which one is the most important within the environment, which will cause you the most damage, financial damage. So with that being said, unique malware family seen, we can see there's over 10, or there's about 10 within this demo environment, and Loki bot is making the most noise with logs of 5,500 logs almost. But not only that, unique malware families, we've got unique IOCs, indicators of compromise. So we've got over 13 very unique, never seen before zero-day type of IOCs within this environment. And then we provide you with the indicator name. With that being said, we can even provide you guys with the which host is infected with these different bots or ransomware or malware within the environment with the click of on that, and it will show you the IP address. If you guys look to the bottom left hand side is the command and control spread. So this shows you what is the source from attacking you, who is attacking you from where in the world. And in the demo environment, we've got the United States, we've got the Netherlands, as well our famous one that we all use is China. With this being, with all of this knowledge and all of the logs and all of that stuff we're getting from the endpoints and the mobiles and the perimeter gateways, we can see exactly where's the attack coming from. But what happens after this? Where do we go after this? Well, the next step is I want to see what's happening with host number one. So I'm actually going to host number one now. So we went from overview to insights. So this gives me the insights on all of the hosts that's got a probable cause of a compromisation. So we mark it from worst to non-worst. And host number one, we can see here they've got 590 CNC connections for the last 5 days. And if I click on activity, we can actually see how the connections was connecting back to that host. Once again, if there's spikes inside of that time frame, the last 5 days, that's a good sign or indication for data leakage, or the attacker is busy on the network, or the attacker is busy on this physical machine. But not only that, we provide you with the IOC name. Okay, cool. This is enough information for me as a soccer analyst. So what happens now? Well, let's click on the IOC. Now we've taken that malicious URL, and now we're going to do the investigation bit. You guys see on the left-hand side, I've moved down to investigate. Well, this malicious malware, it's linked to a CNC server. It's high. That's the family, Ramnet. Okay, cool. We can see the domain. It's a domain type. That's domain, IP address. Once again, that. And then we also provided with a virus total. On the far right-hand side, our Checkpoint research team have a small overview on what this family malware does or what's it about. But not only that, we will provide you with references on the internet currently for this particular URL / the family that's part of this URL. It's not just not just Checkpoint documentation you'll see here. So we've got documentation from feed proxy, blogs, and stuff like that. People that's talking, or users that's talking about this malicious malware or something that happened with them, which a SOC engineer will appreciate when they start doing the investigation. But we take it one step further. We even go into tweets, seeing that we're living in a social development or a social type of world now. Everything is social. People usually tweet about stuff that's happening in the environment, or they want to tweet about, we've got attacked and this is what we've got. So we provide you even with tweets in regards to this malicious URL, which is linked to this family. But not only that, we provide you with Google documentation or Google links as well. And once again, strongly saying this is very a vendor agnostic type of references we provide you here, as we can see stuff like Fire. I was talking about this. We've got stuff like Sonic Wall was talking about it. So it's very a research type of thing to give you more information in regards to this particular malicious URL. If we move to the center part of the screen, that's the geolocation. So here we can see where this particular URL is being used the most. So currently we've got China, which is 160,000 hits. And how we do this is with all of the data we're getting from all of the checkpoints around the customs we've got around the world, it feeds that back into Threat Cloud, and Threat Cloud then spits out the following using our AI and machine learning at the back of this. So with this being said, we've got China, we've got Russia, and luckily New Zealand is safe for now in this demo environment. But not only this, we even show you which industries are being targeted with this particular URL. So we've got manufacturing, finance, communication. So if it was a different ransomware, we'll have medical stuff there, or government agencies, so on and so forth. Now, with this particular malicious URL, we even provide you with the distribution platform. How is this malware being distributed within the environment? Well, for this particular one, it will be web-based, 100% web-based. But if you got stuff like a ransomware, which can be a mixture between mail and web, we'll provide you with the indication on that as well. The indicated timeline for the last 6 months, how often has this been used? There was a small spike there in September. Yep, 24th of September. There was a small spike. August. There was a small spike in there. Then some more research on the bottom left-hand side. We provide you who does this belong to, name, numbers, where is it coming from, where is it hosted. Not only this, subdomains. So it's nice to know the main domain, but what about all of the subdomains? It's fine. We've got all of the subdomains covered. So here you guys can see MX1, MX record is compromised. So we see that there's a bad. And from here, I can actually click on those and we can do investigations in those as well. Related URLs, something that's related to this malicious URL. But not only that, is the communication files. So for instance, those are all hashes. I can go do now investigations on those hashes, and that will tell me, oh, this is linked to this exe file, so this executable. So the user will browse to the site, they will then, without them knowing, that executable will be downloaded onto their machine, and that's how they get onto the machine or compromise the machine. So we can do investigations in that as well. Let's say, for instance, this is a ransomware or account takeover type of attack where the user does a phishing type of thing. We can provide you with subject lines. What is a subject line user look at? What have we seen in the field of this type of attack? Usually the attackers use this type of subject lines or stuff like that. So it's really a cool tool to have to do that investigation within the environment if a lot of company doesn't have that, how can I say, the deep pockets to go for a full-on SOC team that a lot of providers can provide. This is something if you need that holistic view or that quick view, and to get rid of all of the noise, because we all know security appliances can run into thousands, hundred thousands of logs, and it's quite difficult to go through the logs, and it's a tedious thing, and you don't really know which one is bad, which is not bad. So it's a lot of work. Yes, you do get stuff like SIEMs and those kind of things, whereby you still need to learn the SIEM. With Infinity SOC, this tool is actually, the learning is done already. It's in the back end. We've got 26 years of experience. What's bad is what's not bad, and it's just growing as we go per day. So this is the Infinity SOC piece. This is the inside of your network that we show you and protect you as well. But let's say this host is now compromised. What next? What can we do next? How do I remediate this? How do I get rid of this infection or this bot inside of this network? Well, I just click on what next. I'll download a small agent. This agent, then you install this agent on that machine, and then that agent will then remediate and get rid of all of the malware, the botnets, anything that's bad related to this type of attack will be removed from that machine. So Infinity SOC provides you with the visibility of real bad stuff, but also has the capability of remediating users or machines back to a stable working environment. So inside. Now outside. So what can Infinity SOC do in the outside world? Well, with Infinity SOC, you will provide your domain. So let's say, for instance, this is me. I've got a domain by the name of called yrdbank.net, and I've got a couple of PayPal accounts and so on, and I provide Infinity SOC for all of those domains. So what Infinity SOC then does is, with the AI and machine learning, it goes into the Wild West and it's looking for similar websites, lookalike websites. Websites has got similar or similar naming in there. It looks at IP addresses and so on and so forth. And it will come back with lookalike websites that with the information that you provided with Infinity SOC. And we will categorize that into low risk, medium risk, and high risk, as you guys can see on the screen. So for instance, I'm going to click on this. This has been labeled as a high risk. It's currently still live. It was reported or discovered the 12th of July. So we classify this as a credential theft, phishing, easy. A credential theft, provider IP address, MX records, and so on and so forth. But now I can say, you know what? This is a false positive. That is my website. I went into it, and that's fine. I can then dismiss this and create the exclusion around it. Or I can actually do a browsing to this site. So now I want to see, is this my site? Does it look like a credential theft, or is it the type of phishing attack that the attacker is trying to do? He's trying to imitate my websites. So you can safely browse through those websites via Infinity SOC without infecting your own machine. So if you as a user do not have endpoint protection on your machine or any type of protection on your machine against advanced attacks, you can do it safely within Infinity SOC. And you can even go investigate it. So I can go click on that little brain. It'll jump up to investigate. And now, as you guys can see, I'm investigating yrtbank.net. And it provides me with all of that. Cool. So the risk is 0. It's benign. Here's a domain. I can see this is a false positive because it's registered in the United States. But sometimes it's not a false positive. And then you doing business in the States and this domain is registered in India, then you know this is bad. We need to take this down. And then within Infinity SOC, we'll provide you with all of the relevant information, where it was registered, who is registered to remove that domain from the network or from the internet, from the web. With that being said, that's Infinity SOC. Now I'm going to jump over to our CDC, or Cyber Defense Center, or as we know it, or most of we know it, Sandblast Now. And everybody's probably going to go like, wow, what's this? Yeah, don't worry. I had the same impression on my side. Sandblast Now is this checkpoint threat hunting on steroids. Yep, there's a lot of vendors that claim they got the best threat hunting in the world. Yep, it's fine. Everybody have got the right to their own fame. But what we can do with Sandblast Now is we can put all of our stuff in prevent mode. So we can actually prevent active attacks within the environment using Sandblast Now. So we hunt for threats, and while we hunt for threats, we can actually actively bring them to a standstill and stop those attacks happening within the environment. Now, you guys have probably got a couple of questions. All I see is lines and colors and dots and squares, and each of these have a meaning. If you guys look on the right-hand side under filter subnets, the circles got different colors around them, the borders. That's the subnet. That means there's different subnets within this environment. So here we've got the 10 range. Here we've got a 10.2.87 type of range. Then we've got the
Okay, team. So unfortunately, Sean's machine is not playing ball with us today. So instead, I'm going to turn this around and we're going to have a chat to a couple of our checkpoint account managers instead, and just open it up for a bit of general discussion or questions.
It's important to note that the example that Sean has given is something that we can do with you and your customers as well. So we're very open to putting this, like he said earlier, it is kind of so it's not going to take too much out from your customer side. It's something that we can do Zoom sessions, and it really does start to value. Starts to raise questions in terms of what people are doing around things like compliance and configuration, and understanding if your network has already been breached, and if it has been breached, to what extent and how far that lateral movement has taken place in your network. And often we see other vendors and we see other players doing those security checkups and health checkups, which we all do as a security vendor. But I think the important thing is understanding the response of your network to those particular risks. So, for example, I don't know if Sean shared this. I was having my beer in the corner. But a very good key feature of the Infinity SOC is actually understanding the response of particular servers in any certain environment. So if we do have something that is already sitting in your network and it's potentially pinging like an Active Directory server or an online server, then understanding the response of how that server responds to that is very critical, because then we'd know that that particular server is either protected or it is potentially made vulnerable by that that particular piece of malware or ransomware. So yeah, I'm just trying to see if there's any questions that are actually coming up at this point in time. We've got no questions at this particular time, which is quite good. We're just going to have a look-see through the chat.
Big thanks to Westcon for putting this together and those awesome drinks packs that you guys got sent in the mail. It's very cool and obviously very engaging because we're all working from home. Everything's a lot more, not less personal, but if we can bring those exciting technologies to you in a way that you can learn and get more from, it's what we're here for. So yeah.
SandBlast Now, I'll just cover something very quickly. SandBlast Now is obviously part of our portfolio, and what it covers is a couple of areas in SandBlast Now that we actually do. So we've got things like SandBlast Agent, we've got SandBlast Now, we've got SandBlast Mobile, SandBlast Endpoint. So essentially what we're trying to achieve is, like we've said, oh sorry, we've got a couple of questions coming through. We're just trying to figure out how to drive this thing. Antonio's got a learner's license on this. Reza, do you want to maybe ask a question? Unmute him.
Oh, there we go. I can see it. Here we go. You're breaking in, hard to hear. What's the difference in all different sandblasts? That's one question. And then I have a question on the cocktails, more a statement. There wasn't a margarita in there. Good point.
Oh, that's Daryl.
Maybe the next one.
That is Daryl.
I was like, can you ask relevant questions, please?
Awesome. All right.
That's good.
There is a question there. Somebody's asking for a rundown of the various SandBlast offerings and the differences, please.
Okay. Strange, I can't see that one. Here we are. So SandBlast is kind of like, I'll explain it, our secret sauce. So it's kind of the technology that we have running through three of our product suites. So we have SandBlast Mobile, SandBlast Endpoint, SandBlast Agent, that is the same thing, and also SandBlast on our gateways. It's basically the technology that sets us apart. One of the main features would be just inspecting code at the CPU level, plus that is 31 different engines to give you that full comprehensive step up that gets that polymorphic malware and all that kind of comprehensive stuff that we're seeing, because malware is evolving every single day. And with Infinity SOC, it's really cool that we have a tool that utilizes this technology, pulls it into a product that we can sell, whereas before it was you'd have to go to an external source or a consultant to kind of give you these kind of SOC tools. So it's just amazing how fast the technology has come and it's evolved, and that we can use the same kind of evolving technology that we've had for 26 years and implement that, and what we have known, what we've collected in signatures through our existing technology and into the future. So the SandBlast portfolio, it's quite comprehensive, so we could send you more of the white papers and the one pages we have on exactly what that runs through for you guys, and we could possibly do even a tech talk on SandBlast more specifically. SandBlast Now itself, the way I would it's marketing terms and everything, but SandBlast Now is, if you think about it, is like a very comprehensive checkup tool that looks at your whole network, everything, lateral, buzzwords. Can you help me out? It's very new.
Oh.
He's enjoying his cocktail. But the reason we've got Sean for this presentation is it's his baby. He has done a few deployments with it, and it's picked up some really good, insightful reports that we've used with customers. So it is a brand new product, and we're excited to get it out there, and we'd be happy to, to kind of talk to your customers more about that. Here we are. If there's any suggestions that you would like for future tech talks, we'd be happy to address that, or just general customer questions that me and Kenny can address. Be happy to. We still have. There we go. No margarita. Yeah, I think that's about it.
All the stuff there is, of course, available for demo and trial and all that sort of stuff. So we're more than happy to send you guys some white papers in terms of what this looks like, both from a solution brief as well as all the value that it brings to your customers. I don't know if it's probably worthwhile, just on the sandblast stuff, that's of particular interest, is we often get asked what is the difference between things like MDMs and our sandblast mobile offering, and I guess it's always the question is, you can either manage a device or you can try and keep it secure. And what we find is, us all obviously internal at Checkpoint, we obviously all use the sandblast mobile protection stuff, and it's very key to understanding if you have applications that are at risk on your mobile. Oh, here we go. And I think Reza is very keen to help us out on this one. So Reza obviously has a lot of knowledge around this sort of stuff. So we're just going to pass over to Reza quickly. Yeah, give us a couple of moments, Reza. We're just trying to figure this out.
How do we unmute you? Do you know how to unmute?
Do you know how to unmute people?
A little red mic there.
So.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yep.
Hey, cool. Hey, sorry. Yeah, I was just going to jump in. I know there was a question. I think it was just describing what the difference is between the terminology for the sandblast. So sandblast originally started out from the term sandboxing. So it was Checkpoint's sandboxing solution to basically have inline threat prevention, threat extraction to prevent, as I think they were mentioning earlier, to kind of prevent against zero-day attacks and things that might be unknown and be able to prevent you from those. The terminology did morph. Yes. Yeah, the terminology did morph from there to kind of be used with a couple of their different product lines, but in keeping with that sandboxing technology, it's divided into three key offerings now, which have the sandblast terminology in it now. So there's, I'll just turn my video on. Yeah, so it's got the there is the sandblast mobile, which is the protection of mobile endpoint devices. So anything not defined as a standard PC or Windows or Mac device, and it's more just trying to defend against threats that might be tailored specifically to OSs built for mobile devices. And that was the point I think that Kenny was making earlier about there is some discrepancies between that and the traditional MDM, which MDMs are more, I guess, compliance measures, which don't really look for OS level or code level vulnerabilities to protect against, which the sandblast is more geared towards like the deep CPU level kind of inspection and behavioral analysis to protect the mobile devices. Taking that same technology, the next sandblast offering would be sandblast agent, I think. Agent, just mixing up my terms here. So that's designed for endpoints, and by endpoints I mean anything bar not mobile. So your laptops, your Windows boxes, your desktops, and that kind of stuff. The third one, which Sean was just getting ready to get into, is Sandblast Now, which is something very different to the others, and that's basically a managed threat hunting service. I wasn't too well versed in it. I was actually, like the rest of you, waiting to hear from Sean about the specifics of it, but it's very different from the other two products that I mentioned before. It's more of a protection as a service kind of offering. Unfortunately, yeah, I didn't have access to Sean's notes, so I couldn't really tell you more about it, but hopefully that summary helped a little bit.
Yeah, thanks. Is that Sean that's back on? No. Cool, thanks very much for that, Reza. Yeah, and I think that is one of the things that certainly makes us separate from the other vendors is something called threat hunting, which is, I guess, in layman's terms, it's us actively going out and actually seeing if you have dormant vulnerabilities within your network and actually understanding how those perform and how those work, and if they are trying to communicate back to a command and control center and all that sort of stuff. So that is part of the threat hunting profile that we do. So that's something that is quite different to other vendors where we put ourselves in a position where protection is always better than the post vulnerability sort of exercise of recouping all your valuable assets and trying to re-protect them again. So we'll just see if there's any more questions around this stuff. Otherwise, I think, is there anything else that we need?
I can't see any more in the Q&A. There's just people just saying thanks, but there's not any specific questions. That was the only question I saw. But yeah, feel free. There's a couple of people wondering if they're the only person asking questions, and no, there's quite a few of you. I don't think you can all see each other's questions, but just feel free to send them through to me, and I can see all of them, so I'll just answer them as they pop up.
Yeah, too easy. I'd like to say thank you very much, Alana, for hosting this today, and it is something that we're going to be doing very often. So if there's anything that you guys need around security, if it is general information, we do have access to a fairly large team. So we're more than happy to bring those guys in, and please do suggest.
There is one question
relevant to you.
One question's come through. It's more about the format of this, and wondering if the session that's been presented so far if there'll be like an online record of it to be able to view later on.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are recording the session today. So we'll send out a link to the webinar after the event, along with the Q&A, the questions that have been asked and raised today.
Perfect.
Thank you. So yeah, as Kenny mentioned, we're wanting this to be a monthly event. If you do have any preferences around topics that you'd like to have us cover, please do fire them through. We'd love to have your feedback. This is very much aimed at a technical audience, so not for salespeople. But thank you to our salespeople that came along and supported us today. But it's absolutely for engineers. It's for hands-on people. I will purely just be doing the open and close and letting all of you clever people do everything in between. So it's targeted at answering your questions and providing an event where you can delve into the detail with your peers in the industry, particularly around Checkpoint. So as I mentioned, we will be moving to a physical event as soon as we're able, and in an ideal world we'll be able to find a location in Auckland where we'll be able to also record the event and stream that as well. So watch this space for that. But Sean sends his apologies once again. He is absolutely gutted that his machine died on him, so he's feeling very miffed about that. But we'll absolutely have the Sandblast Now session at a later date as well. So thank you again, everybody, for joining us. Thank you to our wonderful Checkpoint team who came in and joined us in person today. Thank you again to Diwali for hosting us here at their office. And thank you to you guys for dialing in. So have a great afternoon. And
if any questions pop up, I think the majority of you should have my email as well. Just feel free to just pop them through to me, and if I can't answer them, I'll forward you to the guys at Checkpoint who will help.
Nice. Thanks, Rez.
Thanks for the support.
What's the easiest way to get hold of you guys? Rez at Westcon? Is there like a Rez at Westcon or Alana at Westcon, or how do we do that?
On the Tech Talks invite, you will find my details on there. Lana.hopenoa@westcon.com. But we'll also send you an email after this event with both of our details on there as well. And I see Rez has just posted his contact details there in the Q&A section as well. That's a wrap, guys. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Cheers.